that the United States can't be expected to stand by its allies, can't be trusted to stand by its allies. And I know that Israel felt this way, the Saudis certainly felt this way, and other key nations are all feeling this way because Mubarak was considered to be, rightly considered to be, the strongest American ally in the Middle East. And yes, he was a tyrant, but again, look at the populist forces that he was repressing. The Salafists, the unabashed Al-Qaeda supporters, got 25% of the vote in their parliament. And the Muslim Brotherhood got over, how much did they get, 60%? So they're the moderate people who want to destroy the world in the name of Islam, and then now they have their coalition buddies who are the immoderate people who want to destroy the world in the name of Islam. I mean, it's off the charts, and the fact that the United States didn't stand by, actually kicked him out, was terrifying. And you add to that the fact that, since he came into office, Obama has a long record of humiliating Israel, of agreeing to do things like single out Israel's nuclear program for sanction at the United Nations, for equating it, and so allowing the Arabs to equate it with Iran's nuclear weapons program. When you see the way that his Secretary of Defense blithely discussed Israel's nuclear weapons as if this was something that every American leadership had acknowledged, when in fact none of them had ever acknowledged. When you see what they've done with the Palestinians in terms of saying that Israel has no right to Judea and Samaria, when that is simply untrue as a matter of international law, and it is also untrue as a matter of policy of every U.S. government until now, in terms of saying that Israel has no right to any of the lands that we took control over during the 1967 Six-Day War, which is a war for self-defense, in refusing to acknowledge that Jerusalem is Israel's capital city, in building a U.S. consulate in Jerusalem, in West Jerusalem, thus saying that the United States doesn't acknowledge Israeli sovereignty not only over East Jerusalem, but over any of Jerusalem. All of these things are stuff that doesn't even make the news, and you know what you're reading about every day in terms of leaving Netanyahu, not feeding him, and then offering him unkosher food with his religious advisors at the White House, and insisting that he recognize or support the establishment of a Palestinian state in Israel's historic homeland, when there is nobody, no constituency in the Palestinian areas that recognizes Israel's right to exist. All of these things leave Israel feeling like we are isolated and in danger in a way that we never have been before, that all of the things that we thought that we could trust, recognition of the rightness of our cause, the support of the U.S. government, the continued support of Egypt, or the neutrality of the Southern Front. We don't have to worry about Egypt anymore as an enemy. It's gone. It's gone. That the Hashemites would be in power in Jordan tomorrow, no way of knowing that, and probably they won't be. Meaning that our long Eastern Front is now again going to become a front of war. And what is facing us from the east? From the Jordan River to India, essentially what we're seeing is a rise of Islamic forces that are taught by their preachers every morning, afternoon, and evening that they should seek the annihilation of the Jewish people because, according to the president of Egypt, we're a bunch of dogs and monkeys and pigs. Then we are the biggest enemies of Muhammad. I'm sorry to come and be the bearer of such bad tidings, but I think that it's very important for us to recognize where we live today and the world as it is. Because we have seen politicians, not only in the United States, but throughout the world, including in Israel, trying to paint a rosy picture of the reality that we face. And then we allow ourselves to drift into complacency when people say things about Israel that aren't true, when we hear off-sided comments about neocons and the neocon agenda in America, when everybody knows that neoconservative is a synonym for Jew today. And we just brush it aside because it's not a big deal, because everybody says it's going to be okay. Well, here's the thing. The good news is it will be okay. But the bad news is that we're going to go through some really lousy times before it is okay. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is if A, we recognize what's at stake, B, recognize the forces arrayed against us, and then finally understanding what's at stake and understanding the nature of the forces that are seeking the destruction of the Jewish people, Jewish state, which by the way will bring about the destruction of the Jewish people, mark my words. There will be no Jews if there is no Israel. This is the third Commonwealth. It was a miracle we got it. We can't be betting on a fourth. When we listen to them and we hear them, we have to take them seriously. And we have to stop making excuses for behavior that is inexcusable. And we have to stand up to all the people who want to tell us that Israel has no right to exist or that we stole the land of people who want to kill our children. And we have to tell them, shame on you. Shame on you. And you know what? You don't have any place at my table with those kinds of thoughts. My time of tolerating the intolerable is over. It's over. Because if we don't do that, then we continue to give credibility to lies and to evil and to murderous designs. And we can't do that. We've been here so many times before in our history. We have to know that we have a choice today. We have a choice. When we say we stand with Israel, we don't stand with Israel because it has high-tech farms in Herzliya and because we're making cures for every disease on the face of the planet. That's all nice, but that is all a function of who we are as a people. We stand for Israel because Israel is good, because Israel is just and moral and righteous. And we stand with them because we want to be on the side of all of those things. And everybody who says anything else about Israel is on the wrong side of justice. It's as simple as that. Mentioned that I have a long night and day ahead of me of driving back to my kids in Chicago. And I really didn't want to come today. But I said to myself, look, these are people who stand with Israel. Gotta come and tell them why they're doing God's work and why they're doing their work and why what they're doing is right and that they gotta keep going. Because it's important. Because this is the battle of our lifetimes. And we want to be able to tell our children that we did our part. And when they grow up, when my little boys get big, I'm going to say, I'm retiring, it's your turn. And pick up the slack. Because you know what? In every single generation, we face different challenges as a people. In every generation, we are asked to choose. Again and again and again. Are we going to do the right thing, or are we going to sit back and just let the chips fall where they may, knowing full well that the chips won't fall well for us if we don't stand up for ourselves? So, generation from now, they'll have their battles to fight. And I'm going to be able to look on with pride and say, I did my part. And I know all of you are going to do the same thing. And I thank you all for standing with us and for standing with Israel. And I so appreciate that you're honoring me with this important award today. And that you just continue on together with the people of Israel doing the right thing, because I truly believe that we are stronger than any force that stands before us. Not just because God is with us, which of course He is, but because we're with Him. So thank you very much.
message that we all need to hear. When we speak of the existential threat that Israel faces, we must realize that those are not just words that we throw around. We are truly talking about the time of existential threat to the people of Israel and to America. I know that many of you have relatives, Jewish friends have relatives, grandparents, relatives who have gone through the Holocaust. Evil exists. My parents went through Hiroshima, they were in Hiroshima. War is hell. Evil rises up again and again. And we must face evil as evil, and we must stand up for God, and we must stand up for what is good. We must take actions. Thank you once again, Caroline. We're going to invite Noma and the choirs to come forward. You must listen to this choir. This is a choir consisting of Christians, Jews, coming together to celebrate this wonderful occasion, to thank God for all the blessings that He's given us. You are going to love this rendition of Hallelujah that Norma has put together. Now, when the choir is over, that will be the end of the celebration today, but I want to make sure that this is also CJUI's annual fundraising event. We'll have a basket back there. Please be sure to give donations to CJUI. We need your help to take actions that we must take. Now following that, so there'll be a basket there. Following that, there is a refreshment, free refreshment. And there'll be tables of our sponsors, camera, and other organizations that are standing with us as we